Let's begin looking back at how we reached this point. Just a two-man jump-off, as we have mentioned. Let's go straight in to Dara Kenny, the first man competing in the jump-off, and the 2021 winner on Volnay-du-Bois-de-Ville, coming out first, stopping the clock at 35.70. And you got the impression once Dara Kenny had come out and made his way out of the ring that he did not feel that 35.70 was going to be fast enough. And because it is only a two-man jump-off, there is absolutely no room to warm up here. You need to come out the gate immediately and start pushing as quickly as you can. That is exactly what Dara Kenny and Volnay-du-Bois-de-Ville tried their best to do, eventually coming through here in that final line and stopping the clock at 35.70. And whether or not he felt that was fast enough there, you just see the facial expressions, the impression that it was just not enough for Dara Kenny. And spoiler alert, that's why you see Max Kuhne on top of the podium as we get ready for the final three to celebrate a little more here in Monaco.
Qui redémarre la troisième meilleure prestation de ce soir, le Belge Olivier Philippats.
President and founder of Longines and top six presentation team on third place finisher Olivier Philippats. And now it's Dara Kenny, our runner-up Prix.
Et félicite aussi donc Max Kuhne. Voilà, c'est la Charles Plaisir qui a le plaisir justement de saluer ce champion accompagnant dans cette remise des prix. La remise officielle de la montre qui s'appelle donc le champion. C'est bien M. Xavier Giraud, le vice-président des ventes internationales Longines, pour remettre ce trophée. Et au-delà de ce beau trophée, c'est de vous entendre une nouvelle fois saluer ce beau podium, les vainqueurs de cette étape monégasque de Longines comme action du tour. Voilà, chacun en a le plaisir et vite parce que maintenant, oui, c'est facile. Allez, vos applaudissements, voici une douche au champagne.
It is the stage that is set, and the stage that we look forward to at the end of every single Grand Prix. And take a look at the emotion. Look what that sip means to Max Kuhne. And a lovely embrace between himself and Dara Kenny. No such luck for Olivier Philippats, who once again finds himself in third place in Monaco at the Lgct Grand Prix, unable to improve on last year's performance as Max Kuhne did. Doing a superb job, by the way, of finishing that bottle. Looks like all the experience in the world. We see and look back at this very particular moment from the round of Dara Kenny in the jump-off. As he got into the Longines double combination in the jump-off, there was an incredible moment from Volnay-du-Bois-de-Ville. Let's show you this moment here. Getting into the combination, he almost dropped his hind legs inside and out again. This is something that is quite remarkable. Over the Longines fence here, the first in the combination, jumps back in here, and Volnay dips his hind legs inside and pulls it out just in time and keeps that Longines pole up and keeps Dara Kenny's Grand Prix hopes alive. But even though now he was able to get in and out of that Longines combination, what then was the plan from Max Kuhne? How then did he react on EIC Coriolis to make sure that he was able to better the time of 35.70? So Max Kuhne makes his way out, knowing that Dara Kenny in particular felt that he was not fast enough for the time of 35.70. So was he able to then take a slightly more conservative approach? There was no point going flat out and then picking up a 4. So what is the plan here from Max Kuhne? Well, at the split time, let me inform you that it was actually Dara Kenny that was faster. And you'll see it here now as we get into that double combination at Longines. He's actually behind Dara Kenny. And he remains behind Dara Kenny until that very last line. And only here does he try to remove a stride and stop the clock at 35.36. Getting incredibly tight, winning by just 0.34 seconds to go on and win tonight's Grand Prix. The big question now is, what do the overall championship standings look like? And we'll give you an updated view on that in just a few moments' time. The big conversation as well was around Olivier Philipparts, because he found himself at one stage thinking that he might be the only man that will be competing for this title. After a handful of riders either retired or came home on very high scores, it was only Olivier Philipparts that was able to conquer this course. He did not take a single fence down, only picking up 2 time penalties. And at the time, those 2 time penalties were enough to see him take the provisional lead. But you could see the frustration in Olivier Philipparts, knowing that those 2 time penalties meant that there was a window of opportunity. There was a moment and a possibility that the riders were going to better his 2 time penalties. And those 2 men were indeed Darragh Kenny and Max Kuhne. I believe that Darragh Kenny is now standing by for us. Darragh, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I want to say tough break, but again, congratulations, another Lgct podium. Talk to us about what's going through your mind.
Yeah, it seems to be my position at the moment, second, which is not exactly where I would like it to be. But I have to say, Volney jumped unbelievable today. You know, he's been a great horse for me since I took him over from Teddy Vlock. He's jumped absolutely amazing all the rounds today. All weekend, actually, he jumped incredible, so I couldn't be any prouder of my horse. I was a little bit slow in the jump off, and that's kind of where I lost it.
Talk to us about that, Darragh, because we got a close-up of your face afterwards. You seemed disappointed, you seemed let down by the time of 35.70. Did you know then already that perhaps it wasn't going to be enough?
Yeah, I definitely knew. I left the door open a little bit. You know, he stumbled after the first jump in the jump off, and I did one more stride to the vertical than I would have liked. And then I was a little bit slow to the second last and did 7 strides where Max did 6 to the last. So I knew I was behind a little bit, and Max made it happen today.
Does it make it more heartbreaking knowing that you were ahead on the split time right until the final fence?
I knew when I came out of the ring. I already knew I knew I hadn't enough done, and I knew he could beat me, and that's not an enjoyable feeling when you know that you can already be beat. But I couldn't be any happier with my horse today, and the result was great. So, you know, we'll just keep fighting and try and get that ticket.
And we will see you in Prague in that Super Grand Prix, I have no doubt. Darragh Kenny, well done for tonight. Tough break, missing out by just 0.34 seconds, going on to finish in second place behind Max Kuhne today. Very proud of the performance of Volney, and very happy to get into that jump-off, and very happy to find himself in a jump-off position, in a podium position, but unfortunately just falling slightly behind, acknowledging that he felt as if he had left that door open. Now, Olivier Philipparts joins us live on the show. Olivier, quite remarkable that this has been almost the same podium, at least the same 3 men from 2021 to 2022. What is it with you, Max Kuhne, and Darragh Kenny in Monaco?
Well, it's crazy. Again, the podium is pretty much the same. I mean, it's very, very cool to see that. But I've changed horses from last year. But I mean, it looks like we all 3 like the show.
Olivier, talk to us about the decision to not jump Legend. I think we can all agree that Miro was fantastic, but take us through the decision to not jump Legend in the Grand Prix.
Well, I mean, the plan was for sure to jump Miro in the qualifier and the Legend in the Grand Prix, but like this morning I've ridden them both, and I felt like Legend, she was not in as good shape as I thought she would be, you know, and she's getting a bit older, so I'd say I'd save her for next time. And then Miro looked incredible form yesterday and again today in the qualifier, so I was also very confident of riding him in the Grand Prix. And he jumped tremendous today. I couldn't ask for more from him today.
And after watching so many riders in the field struggle on this course, did you maybe think for a moment that your 2 time penalties would be enough? Or did you feel as if there was a window open for the riders to come?
I mean, obviously, 2 time pulls was never going to be enough for the win. So actually, I was just doing my round. But towards the end of the course, my horse got a little bit tense in a couple of corners. That's why he went outside and lost a bit of time. But I have to say, actually, the only one to blame today was myself. You know, the horse did whatever he had to do, and just the rider was way too slow. But on the end, I'm very happy to have this horse in my team, and I think it's going to be an incredible good horse for the future.
I think so as well. We've all been very impressed with Miro's performance, and again, well done for finding himself on the podium once more. Olivier Philippons finishing in 3rd place today. 2-time penalties, meaning that he was unable to get into the jump-off, but he does still find himself on the podium in Monaco once again, as he did last year in 2021, followed alongside with Max Kuhne and Christian Allmann. Now, Max Kuhne and Derek Kenny, I beg your pardon. I was thinking of the championship standings. We'll talk about Christian Allmann and his lead in a few moments' time. Talking about the lead, when it came to Pieter de Vos, we were talking about him in the build-up to the Grand Prix. What was the man who had the best opportunity to close the window on the championship standings going to do today? He took a heavy knock to the face in the Global Champions League, suspected broken nose, yet Pieter de Vos still came out today and jumped in round 1. Unfortunately, Momstupi de la Roque taking 2 fences down. 8 penalties means that Pieter de Vos did not qualify for the jump-off, did not cash in on a golden opportunity to try and make up as much ground on a championship standing as possible. Unfortunately for him, Pieter de Vos not being able to get over the line. Let's hear from him.
Well, it's a very difficult course. We had the first clear round just now, but it's a very tricky one today.
What made the double so hard to jump?
It's the angle, it's the height, it's the second class for most horses of the day. It's warm, it's tall, it's difficult.
It's been very warm today, a couple of rounds, big jumps. The track is very small. I mean, everything itself makes Monaco so special. That's why it's so tough. But I mean, on the end, I see we all up 3 or 4 cleats, which is good.
I think everything came up really fast. Obviously, it's a big track. It's hot. It's the end of the week now, and the horses have had a long week. Yeah, it's just very technical and very tricky and up to height.
It's such a difficult ring, as everyone knows. It's a small ring and there are big jumps in there and everything is coming quickly at you. Of course, the line where I faulted is causing a lot of trouble there, and I think it's a tough course to jump.
So a handful of the riders talking to GCTV about the difficulty in trying to conquer this track and giving us their thoughts on just how tricky it was to what Uliano Vizzani put together today. There was one man, in fact, of course, there were 2 men in Derek Kenny and Max Kuhne, but there was one man in particular that was able to conquer this course like no other, and that is indeed tonight's Lgct Grand Prix winner. Max Kuhne joins us on the show now. Max, finally, the wait is over. What is going through your mind and your heart right now?
Yeah, very happy to get it. The ticket for the super final, and yeah, very happy tonight.
Max, how different is the preparation when there are only 2 riders in a jump-off? Do you prepare differently? You don't have any experience to watch the other riders. It's just you and Dara. What do you do when there's only 2?
Yeah, luckily I was in the 2nd position, so I tried to be ready at the same time than Derek. And then I watched his course and counted the horse's steps between the fences. And then I quickly had to make my plan, what is possible for my horse and what might be enough. And luckily it turned out good for me tonight.
Max, in round 1, you made a very unique inside turn. Can you talk to us about that inside turn? Did you share it with anybody? Did you make it known? Where did you see that inside turn?
Yes, exactly. I think this was a good course from Uliani. It was very technical with these angles and the distances. So usually my horse has a very big stride and it's not the natural fastest one. So I decided to turn inside to slow him down over the vertical before the combination, and then going outside slow 6 just to save the combination where we had most of the falls. And yeah, worked.
Max Kuhne, the Lgct Grand Prix winner in Monaco tonight, doing exceptionally well, and we will see him in Prague at the Super Grand Prix. Let's show you how the tables look and give you an idea as to how it stands now. This is how it finished in Monaco. Max Kuna on EIC Coriolis, of course, finishing ahead of Darragh Kenny, the only two men in the jump-off. And as you mentioned, H&M Miro, not jumping legend in the Grand Prix. Olivia Philipparts in third place. And then a handful of riders all finishing on four penalties today. Edouard Levy, Julien Epillard, Emeric Georges. This is what the overall championship standings look like. Christian Alman stays in first, Ben Mayer stays in second, and Peter Vos stays in third. But Darragh Kenny jumps up to 4, Max Kuna jumps up to 5, and there are drops for Fernando Martinez Soma, Gilles Thomas, and Spencer Smith. Here is a list of the riders who have qualified for the Lgct Super Grand Prix in Prague, from Ludger Beerbaum in Doha all the way down to Max Kuna tonight in Monaco. Thus far, those 10 riders have won Lgct Grand Prix this year, and they will be the 10 riders that will be competing in the GC playoffs in Prague later on. Who will go on to join them in the 5 remaining events of the year? We take a slight break, a small break in the season, and we will rejoin you again in a couple of weeks' time. So stay with us here on GCTV. There will be more content, the Lgct Grand Prix analysis, the inside, and more to come your way. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.